wisely and get to a good end. So I would like us to start with an opening prayer. So I'll kindly like to invite Mr. Prince Asempa to give us the opening prayer. Can we put our hands together for him, please?
Good morning, everyone. We are most grateful to God for such an opportunity to be here today. Today, which happens to be a presidential debate, and we're glad to have all of you here. Let us all bow down heads and take a prayer, and we can commence. Our most loving and gracious Father, we thank you this morning. We thank you for your love, for your mercy and kindness. We thank you for your grace, your strength and power over our lives. We thank you for giving us strength and for bringing us here safely today. We pray and trust in today's program into your care. We pray that, Father, your Spirit will lead us on, your strength will guide us, and you will come and chair this program today, that, Father, will have a successful presidential debate. We pray and trust in all the facilitators, all the aspirants into your care. We pray that, Father, you give them the knowledge they would need to answer their questions. We pray you give them skills and understanding to know what is right and what to do. We also pray and train all other students who are on their way here into your care. It is our prayer that, Father, let your Spirit lead them, bring them safe here. That, Father, at the end, we'll give honor and adoration to your holy name. We bless you. In Jesus' name we pray thanksgiving. Amen.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prince, for the opening prayer. I will once again like to welcome all students, presidential aspirants, as well as distinguished guests that are here today to make this event a memorable one. I believe we all know why we are here this morning, but it's okay to remind ourselves once again about our presidential debate. Okay, it's not protecting. Our presidential debate, and this is basically between the two main aspirants that are aspiring to be president or SRC presidents in our university. This is part of the processes that the AC put in place to make sure that the people or the students get to know their leaders, not just by what they say or just by written words that we see on flyers and all those things, but for us to question them one-on-one. Do you really mean this? Are you sure you want to do this? This is an opportunity to ask them all those questions in a very gentle manner, of course. So they get to express themselves, they get to explain points that we've seen on their flyers or heard them say somewhere to us on a more clear note. So we want to get started with that right away. We have panelists that will be helping us start the section. They will be asking them some key questions, right? The EC sent a letter earlier on out to all of us, letting us know what we want to see in these candidates: leadership skills, ability to solve problems, ability to handle issues when they come up. So we want to see all those things. So the panelists are going to help us to find out with strategic questions. You know, there are questions that bring answers out, right? Those questions are going to be asked this morning, and I believe you are going to have a very memorable event. So I'm going to call forth for the panelists to come forward now. So when I call their names, they come forward and sit at my extreme right, because we have a table that is set here for them to be comfortable. So okay, it's here now, all right. So first on my list, I would like us to put our hands together as we welcome Mr. Prince Asempa Ejay, who happens to be the SRC chaplain, as he joins the high table now. Thank you, that's a warm one, thank you. The next on my list is Mr. Nathaniel Osei Tutu, who is a theology student as well as an engineer as profession. Oh, are we clapping for him? We can do it better for him. Thank you, Mr. Nathaniel. Thirdly, I would like us to put our hands together as we welcome Mr. Patrick Mai Lazarus, who is a former Hcc chairperson as well as a theology student. Thank you, Mr. Patrick. Last but not least, I would like us to put our hands together for Miss Rebecca Oklo Akoli, who happens to be the SRC Attorney General. Oh, are we clapping for her? The only lady in their midst. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are we streaming live yet? Are we? Okay. So we'll be streaming live, so people that are online would have the opportunity to listen or to enjoy what we are enjoying here live. They'll have the opportunity to ask questions as well. So as the questions comes in, the media team would be assisting us in collating those questions so we can put it to the right people to answer. So next on my list, we would want to welcome the presidential candidate or presidential aspirant themselves. So when I call the first person or when I call an aspirant, he would have to come introduce himself for the next 2 minutes. Sit down whilst I call the second person to follow up. So 2 minutes, a short introduction of yourself or of your team. So you would have to come along with your vice presidential candidates as well. So the first on my list, in no particular order, I would like us to put our hands together as we welcome Mr. Gilbert Tete. Please, sir, to join us.
A very good morning to you all. My name is Gilbert Tete, a level 3 student reading BBA in Human Resource Management of this noble institution. And I would like my vice to introduce himself.
Okay, good morning, everybody. My name is Emmanuel Dakulamte, a level 200 IT student. Thank you. And I'm the vice for Mr.
Is that okay? I thought you had something. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, you can join. Thank you very much, Mr. Gilbert. Now, I'd like us to put our hands together as we welcome Mr. David Bomyanda Simbo. Sorry, I don't get it. No,
My name is David Boniyamia Zimbo, a level 300 BITM student of this noble institution, and I'm contesting for the post of SRC President. And here's my vice, Shadrach Klume, also a BITM level 300 student in this noble institution. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You can have your seats. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So because we are far behind time, we are just going to make it very short and on point. We are starting the debate. But for the first session, our panelists will be asking them questions, very strategic questions, as I said earlier on, just to figure out some things. And I would like them to become relaxed and answer to the best as possible. I mean, this is just one thing, or this is an opportunity to convince us the more who we should vote for, or why should we vote for you. That is just what it is. So we are moving straight up to that section. I believe all the panelists have, okay, there is a microphone here. That will be enough for them. I can give you mine as well. So we move straight up to that section. You have a minute? Okay. Okay. So I want us to put our hands together for them as they get started. Let's put our hands together for them. Thank you very much.
Okay, so our questions will be coming from these angles. Your communication skills, practical leadership, knowledge of the SRC and the school, knowledge of National Student Organization and SRC affiliates, problem-solving skills. So here we start with the communication skills. Okay. when we say communication skills, what do you understand by that in terms of ruling in SRC of an institution? And what do you believe they are the most important issues the SRC faces in terms of this? Before that, Mr. Moderator, can we get a timekeeper and as to who answers which question and how many minutes per a question?
Okay, so thank you very much. So each candidate will have a minute to answer the questions that have been asked. So, I mean, I believe this is, everyone needs to get a chance to answer the same question. So a minute for each candidate. I'll be here keeping the time and I'll signal you when it's up. Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Gilbert.
Okay, thank you, Madam Panelist. I believe that so when we say communication among the SRC, I believe that the SRC, the chairman of the SRC, which is the SRC president, should be able to communicate clearly his visions and also get to listen to the visions of other executives, because if the SRC will sustain or if the SRC will attain greatness together, it should not be based on the vision of the SRC president alone, but the visions of other executives. And so there should be a clearly communication between the SRC president and all other executives who are on board to clearly collate their visions together, develop a strategy on how to attain that goal. Thank you.
Okay, to the best of my knowledge, making them understand to stay and also listening to their views, because communication is not a one-way traffic. Communication is not a one-way traffic. It should be so that we understand each other and know where we are going. So that's my answer. Thank you. Okay. What I said was communication is a two-way affair. You talking to people and they being able to understand what you are saying clearly. So effectively, you make your points clear to them and also listen to their views as well. That is communication. So as an SRC, when leaders of the SRC, the followers don't get what the leaders are saying clearly, they will act otherwise. And when the leaders also take the views of their followers, there's no communication. And I think that's one gap in our current SRC. Thank you.
Okay, so to the two president aspirants again, the question was asked in two folds, okay? We are not really interested in the theoretical definition of communication skills, that I'm sure we all know. She asked that, what, in your opinion, do you think is the biggest problem of the SRC now? And how do you intend to address that with communication? Is it clear now? Okay.
So the biggest challenge is that the head of the SRC body is not communicating clearly with the other executives. And I believe that imposing your views or your vision on other executives becomes a problem for the executives to cooperate with you. And so if you share your vision with them and they also share their vision with you, you communicate clearly with them, all the other executives come together to develop a strategy on how to attain that vision. I think it will solve the current problem you are facing in the SRC when it comes to communication. And so listen to your executive, you let your executive also get to hear you, come together to develop a strategy, get to the student body and explain your strategy to them, explain your visions to them, and your strategy and how you intend achieving that vision. Thank you.
Okay, in my view, communication in the SRC, as it is now, is not really clear. So as a leader, you need to let your followers buy into your goals and visions. They need to understand what you are trying to do for them. So when my administration comes, what we'll do is we'll have what we call the open forum. We'll have the whole student body come in, share their views. These are problems. This is what we want you to do for us. We also explain to them the vision we have. Do they buy into it? Maybe they are not seeing what we are seeing. So we have to make it clear to them. This is what we are seeing. We think when we take this path, it will help us. The students also bring their views on board. We want you to toe this line. We want you to do this for us. In that way, we communicate with each other and we arrive at the same spot where activities of the SRC will be effective and everyone will feel belonged and want to participate. Thank you.
Do you understand the difference between channels and levels of communication? The difference between channels and levels of communication? Okay, so the question is, do you understand the difference between channels and levels of communication? And how do you intend to use that in bridging the gap, as in the problem you raised, as currently the big difference between the SRC body and the student body? How do you differentiate between levels and channels? And how do you implement them to bridge the gap?
Thank you for the question. When it comes to levels and channels on bridging the gap, the existing gap between SRC right now. So the SRC automatically, if the SRC wants to communicate with management or the university council, it has to first go through the dean of students, the SRC patrons, then from the SRC patrons to the dean of students. Then the dean of students can lead the SRC to management to communicate their grievances to them. And when it comes to the levels or the channels between the SRC and the student body, the legislative council is the best, because with the legislative council, we have all members, the class reps or other reps from the other arms of SRC representing at the legislative council. And so they bring the problems of the student body to the legislative council, they discuss, then the legislative council has to push it to the SRC executive, for the SRC executives to also forward it to the patrons and the dean of students for a proper address.
Okay, the levels of communication from the SRC executives start with the president down to the last person in the SRC executives. So in order for there to be effective communication, we have our patrons as well, who is the dean of students. He takes most of the SRC affairs to the top management. Even though the SRC president has the privilege to sit in council meetings to sometimes take the needs of students to them. The medium of communication can be through email, our various WhatsApp platforms, our General Assembly. Those are mediums we use to communicate in this institution. Those are the various mediums you use. And the levels, we can have the class reps and the legislative reps who are in parliament take student matters to parliament, parliament deliberates on them, and also brings it to the executives. Thank you.
Thank you. With the channel or levels of communication within the SRC, you mentioned that the Dean of Students is the patron of the SRC. I want to make this correction. He is not the patron, but he's one of the stakeholders of the SRC, and the SRC have the right to choose who their patrons are. Thank you.
Thank you. Aspirants. So, my question here is on HCC, the university. As a university, we have values, we have core values. And these core values, until recently, were changed from some we know to a current one called the 5 C's. I want you all to state these 5 C's and tell us how you intend championing these 5 C's within the student body and the SRC as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. The 5 C's of HCC are conviction, character, creativity, compassion, and community. My administration will use various innovative programs to help channel these 5 C's because they are the sustenance of this institution. For instance, we can have something like Advocacy Day, where students will come and express their opinions. And through that, we'll get to know what their beliefs are, what are their convictions. Because a conviction is something like the compass that leads your life, something that you believe in, your belief system. 2, when we come to character, we can organize programs to bring in key stakeholders in this nation, people of influence, to come and shape us, to teach us, so that we can take ethical decisions in our lives. When we go to creativity, we can have something like the Creative and Arts Day, or Arts and Culture Day, where students will come on board, display their various talents and skills, and at the end of the day, we get to see what they can do. Some people might not even know what they possess within, and through those forums, people can discover their talent as well. So briefly, that's my answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question, Mr. Pandel. The 5 C's of HCC is the character, conviction, community, creativity, and compassion. So in my opinion of implementing these 5 C's, well, building a community where we have the student body coming together to share opinions, trying to bring the ideas, because if you attain greatness, it should not be one person's vision or strategy. It should be the community strategy, how to attain the greatness. So when we attain the greatness together, then all of us can beat our chest to say we did it together. When it comes to creativity, well, my main agenda is to just do something extraordinary out of the normal way or the normal SRC week celebration we do have on campus, by at least having the student body being camped at a tourist site where we can have a 3-day camp, trying to get our mentors to come and educate us on how the corporate world feels like. So it's a creativity. We should do something outside the normal way we do things. When it comes to compassion, we should be compassionate to ourselves, because if we believe in a community system, then we should build a compassion towards ourselves. And one problem should be our problem. The student body should be the problem of the student body, where we can convert it or communicate it to the SRC patrons, through the Dean of Students, through the management, to the University Council. And I also believe that character, well, we live in a Christian community. And so the SRC should be able to promote a godly behavior among the student body. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a follow-up question to that regard. David, first to you. If voted in as the president, what are the first 4 things you wanted to do? Students are listening and they wanted to know the first 4 things you wanted to do when you come in as the president.
Okay. When voted into power, the first thing I would do is to try to restore the integrity and the confidence into the SRC. I say this because I was gone SRC president. We all saw it yesterday when the verdict was out. Through all these rumors, it has tarnished the image of the SRC a bit and has even made student interest in SRC affairs dip. My first policy is to try to bridge that gap, to try to solve that issue with open forum where students come on board and share their views. Let us know what is really their problems and we'll discuss on how to solve it. 2 is to advocate the needs of the students. Take it to the right quarters for it to be addressed. When I listen to them at the open forum, it will not just end there. Myself and my executives will discuss this and take it to the right quarters for those issues to be addressed. 3, health. And when I say health, I'm talking about mental health issues. A lot of students are going through depression, anxiety, and stress, and they don't know where to go to for these to be addressed. My administration will do our best to direct students to the right quarters for those issues to be addressed, and we will look to build a web-based portal where students can go there and get someone to address their issues, and if the need for them to see a professional comes in, that will be done as well. Thank you.
Okay, hold on to the mic, David. So you said you are going to help bridge the gap with integrity. Number one, what are you going to do? The second question is, are you now going to listen to students' problems before you solve them, or coming as an SRC president, aspiring to be one, assuming you become one? Do you know what students' problems are now, or you are waiting to organize an open forum before you get to know their problems, before you get to solve them?
Okay, talking about integrity. Integrity is saying, doing what you say, being honest, taking responsibility for your actions, and admitting when you are wrong. When you are wrong and they point it out, you admit, okay, I did wrong. I need to correct myself. And with all that we've heard about our outgone SRC president, these were things that he didn't do, or he didn't want to do, which has affected his administration, and it has put the current executive in a tight position, and they are finding it difficult to do so many things. And talking about student problems, yes, I've identified some. I even mentioned a mental health issue. It's an issue that I identified, and that is one thing I would like for us to look and solve. And the new students as well. We realized that most of them, even submitting their assignments to the online portal, was a challenge for them. And whether I'm voted in or not, myself and my vice have taken it upon ourselves that we'll get to them and help them learn to do that thing. That's one student problem that they are facing. So we know some of the problems, and we also would like to listen to them as well and take it up.
So, talking of the 4 things that if I get the opportunity to serve the student body, I will do. Well, part of the SRC Constitution, which is Article 7, some of the clauses or some of the subsections, which is from A to H, have given functions of the SRC president, what the SRC president needs to do. And so some of the functions that have been stated in the SRC Constitution should not be my promises to the student body. It is expected of me to do. So I should not make promises based on my functions, or my duty or responsibility to the student body should not be a promise making to them. I just have 2 agendas on board coming if I'm voted into power. And one of the agenda, if I'm voted or not into power, which I will make sure that it is achieved. That's reviewing our SRC Constitution to meet the standard of other campuses. I have almost 12 SRC constitutions from other campuses, where I have the current SRC constitution of the Ghana School of Law, Makola, with me. And looking at it, other campuses are learning to meet their standard. Comparing our SRC constitution to them, we are far below standard. And so it is my aim or my vision to work with my executives to make sure that we review the constitution to meet the standard of the SRC. My second agenda is to the creativity point where I spoke about by organizing a 3-day camp outside campus. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gilbert. So you iterated on 2 policies yourself. You talked about reviewing the Constitution.
And organizing SRC from the usual SRC.
Great. You have been a member of the Parliament.
Speaker.
A Speaker of Parliament. That is a pretty great post. But as a Speaker of Parliament, what have you done as your time as a Speaker of Parliament to address an issue you are now bringing up as one thing you would want to do now that you are out of power?
Well, I spent a year in office as a Speaker of Parliament. And during this year, I got the opportunity to read the Constitution from the first cover to the last cover. I noticed some inconsistency in it, and comparing it to other campuses' SRC Constitution, I noticed we are far below standard. And so, as a speaker, well, since my admission to this institution, I started serving as a class rep, a member of Parliament, minority leader, and now the Speaker of the Legislative Council. And it's given me the opportunity or the ample time to review the Constitution, read article to article, and I noticed the inconsistency in it. And now I just want to review the Constitution to meet the standard of other campuses. Thank you.
So you're saying it took you practically 3 years to actually do a review?
Practically a year. That
year.
was me being the speaker, having access to the Constitution and knowing that as a speaker, I should know the Constitution offhand to rule or to administer my duties of
so
office.
It's taken you a year, though, to actually understand, go through, do a thorough review of the Constitution. You still couldn't do something until you're out of power. That's my worry. You've been out of power. So you need to convince us, the panelists, and all student body that yes, though you are out of power, what can you do? Now that you are out of power, what can you do?
What I can do is just build the relationship with other campuses, have other campuses that are reading law, have their judicial committee teaming up with our judicial committee on campus here to review the Constitution.
Great. Thank you.
This one to Gilbert before David.
Please speak up.
You have been the Speaker of Parliament. In your submission, you said you were a course rep. I don't know if you're still a course rep, and you have been a member of Parliament as well. And I think all those periods gave you the ample time enough to read the Constitution. You've read it, and you've noticed the lapses or the loopholes in the Constitution. What effort or input have you made to help the SRC to bridge these kind of gaps?
Level 100, I was the class rep. Level 200, I was the class rep. It was level 200 that Parliament was inaugurated. The first Parliament was inaugurated. And when the first Parliament was inaugurated, I got the opportunity to serve as the minority leader. Though the first Parliament was not that active, because that was our first Parliament, and that was when we are trying to learn how things are being done on other campuses. So getting to learn from other campuses how they are doing their Parliament sitting and all that did not permit me to have ample time to review or to go through the Constitution, because I am learning from other campuses, and I can't combine what I'm learning from other campuses to my campus administration. Level 300, I got the opportunity to serve as a speaker, and that gave me the time, now that I have learned from other campuses' parliament, it gave me the time to sit down to go through and compare my SRC constitution to other campuses, and that was when I noticed the inconsistency that I have take it upon myself to build a relationship with other judicial committee on other campuses to review the constitution. Thank you.
You're welcome. To David, Mr. Boniamia. You have been a member of parliament for the past 1 year. As a member of parliament, if you don't know anything at all, you have read the constitution. And is this constitution that you will read to know the rights of your cause members and how to protect them? If you have really read this constitution, you've identified loopholes, what efforts have you made to prompt the current SRC executives to make changes?
Okay, I didn't identify any loopholes during my because Parliament never sits in my entire time as part of the current Parliament. There was never a sitting for Parliament to do anything. We never had opportunity to meet or discuss any issue. So I didn't do anything. The loopholes, yeah, I saw some, but I couldn't address them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. To both aspirants, some of you are weekend students and some are also weekday students. Now, as incoming leaders of the SRC and the student body as a whole, how do you plan on handling issues about supporting student organizations and activities, such as clubs, sports teams, and cultural groups? How do you intend on supporting this? Since some of you are weekend streams and some of you are weekday streams, how do you plan of actually taking care or supporting these activities I just mentioned?
Did you get the question? Please come again.
So I'm saying, this is a university. Some of you run as weekend streams and some of you run as what? Weekday streams. Now, we have activities on campus like clubs, football, and what have you. How do you intend, as part of your administration, to support all these activities, extracurricular activities on campus, since not all students are weekday students, and not all of them too are weekend students?
Let me take it first. Okay, thank you for the question. Being the SRC president does not make my other executive a ceremonial head. So being the SRC president, I can delegate power to the other executives to take in charge of affairs on campuses. So if I try to do everything alone as the SRC president, taking affairs of the weekend students and also the regular students and neglecting my executives, then automatically I am making them a ceremonial head. And I don't want to make them a ceremonial head. And so I will delegate power for them to have the power to run their affairs even in my absence. Because when it comes to leadership, it should not be just the leader having to do everything, but the leader have the power to delegate power to his other members to take in charge of affairs.
Okay, so as a follow-up to what you just said, I don't think he's really talking about delegations. You are the president, okay? You have two main streams, weekend, weekday. Those two streams do not necessarily meet. And so if care is not taken, it's going to look like we are running two heritage universities. Do you understand? How, in your power as an SRC president, what can you do so that we have a unified body as heritage university, even though there are two streams? But what can you do to bridge that gap? Otherwise, there are some people who have been here as weekends, they never come here on weekdays. And the other way around. I don't know if you get it.
I do. So, being a regular student, automatically sometimes some lecturers do push your class to the weekend section. And if we should look things from other perspective, the total population of this institution is made up of majority of weekend students. And so programs that sometimes being organized on regular days do go to the disadvantage of the weekend students. And most of the regular students are a resident student. And so having programs that will go for the regular students and neglecting the weekend students, which the weekend students are the majority of the total student population, is going to affect the weekend students. And organizing programs on weekend basis to the regular students is going to complain about it. And so you look at these instances, then you come to a conclusion where the weekend liaison have the mandate or the power to collaborate with other hall reps or other class reps to come together to reach a conclusive decision to make programs possible for the regular student and the weekend student. Thank you.
Do you have any plans to speak with academics so that there is a window where approximately there are no classes? Both weekends and weekdays, there are no classes. Since there are two main streams and each of them have different lines, do you have any plans of getting a window where there are no, because in other institutions, when there's a big SRC week, there is reduced academic works so that all students can be on board to celebrate the week. Do you have any plans of doing something like that?
So normally the registrar, the academics normally do release timetable getting to the date that we resume school. That's when the school timetable comes out. And when the school timetable is released, then we get to know the activities that is within the semester. So if as an SRC, if we can work as a team during the vacation days to come up with a program, then we get it to the registrar to fix it into the date. Or if we can even approach lecturers during the weekdays to talk to them that, well, since they will be meeting the regular sections, why not maybe discuss with the regular student, come up with a date. Online sections are also available. So if the class can be scheduled to the weekend section, or they can give them the online option so that programs can go on. Thank you.
Is that to say that as a student body, representatives do not have any say in the timetable that affects us directly? Don't we have any say? Is it a timetable that is typically imposed on us, whether we can or not, we should take it?
It's not a timetable that is typically imposed on us. So that's why I said, as an executive, as an SRC executive, you work behind the scenes together. You approach the dean, your SRC patrons, you communicate with him. He leads you to the dean of students. Then the dean of students can lead you to registrar, that is the academic. Then you communicate your plans you have within the semester to them so they can fix it into the timetable. Thank you.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. So how would you handle a situation in which a student group is accused of violating the school student code of conduct? How would you handle a situation in which a student group is accused of violating the school student code of conduct?
Okay, it's an accusation. So there should be a fair hearing. So they will be invited to come in. We have a judicial council, and we have our constitutional guidance as to how to approach such issues. So we'll give them a fair hearing, hear what they have to say, and if they are found guilty, the appropriate disciplinary actions will be taken against them. Thank you.
Do I answer the same question? Okay, so in a case where a student go against the conduct of the university institution, well, the SRC do have a constitution, and part of the constitution, which is Article 3, talks about the supremacy of the constitution. And Article 3 clause 1 talks about where in a case where a student violates the conduct of the institution, he needs to face the judicial committee for a fair case hearing, because you can't, it's an allegation or it's just a hearsay. Allow the student to present evidence, further and better particulars to support his actions. Maybe his actions might have reasons, but if you don't give that student a fair case hearing and you decide to suspend or expel him from the institution, then automatically you are breaching the freedom or the fundamental human right of the students of this great institution. Thank you.
David, do you think our campus now and our immediate environment is fit for academic works?
Yes, because when you look at our campus, there's conducive environment for learning, and even the kind of classrooms and chairs we are sitting on, when you go to some universities, they don't have that. So I think it's fit for purpose.
Please.
Please make us understand better. What really do you think is helping students learn better? Is it the conduciveness of the environment, or there are specific things that you notice?
The conduciveness of the environment counts. The kind of faculty we have, their relationship with students, all counts to make students learn and feel comfortable in the environment. So all those are factors that help students learn. And even the activities that we undertake on a daily basis also contribute to students having a better environment to learn.
Thank you. Gilbert, there is one thing that we all know. The school is a Christ-centered university. And there is this very important aspect of us being here. We always gather for General Assembly, and students find it so awkward and they don't like to attend assemblies. What different approach do you intend to bring on board so that students can attend General Assembly? Because we have noticed that lecturers, students, including the SRC executives, they have tried their best, but still students are not interested in attending General Assembly. So you being the SRC president, what other different approach are you going to bring on board to help students and the university as a whole to gather together for that assembly?
Thank you. So let me use the weekend section as an example. So as a weekend section, well, class, at first, the previous semesters that I have been on this campus, at first, when class ends, you come for General Assembly. As soon as General Assembly comes to an end, you are going back to the classroom for lectures. So looking at it, me coming to General Assembly to spend that 1 hour at General Assembly, that I will not have time for myself to go and eat before going back to the classroom for the next class, was a problem for students. And so he preferred that after the first class, he leaves campus, he goes out and gets something to eat before the next class starts. Well, I don't know what the current SRC executive communicates to the registrar of academics. Now, I noticed there was a changes. Class ends at 10:30, and General Assembly starts at 10:30 as well and ends at 11:30. Then students have 30 minutes break to go and eat. So I think that was a great step to get student involvement in General Assembly. Thank you.
Just a correction. General Assembly for weekend stream starts at 10:30 and ends at 11:15. Thank you. So I have a question for you, both of you. It's about diversity and inclusion.
Diversity and
inclusion. So we have international students in our midst, and there are other students who feel left out. In your plans or in your structure or your administrative structure to help lead the school, what plans do you have for student inclusions, especially the international students and the other students who feel left out? Because believe me, I know you don't know all the international students we have. You know them. Okay, so tell me what provisions or what you've planned for them to help them, to include them within our culture. Because our cultures are different. And sometimes, a lot of times, they find it difficult to actually adapt. So what is your plan of inclusion?
Thank you. Personally, I know the International Students Association president. And I know currently we have 8 international students among us. So some of the activities we plan on doing, like I said before, the Arts and Culture Day. This is an opportunity for them to come on board and educate us on their culture as a people, where they are coming from. What are some of the things they do there that we can help them do here as well? Those who feel left out, an open forum will let them express their views so that we can understand them and help them blend in. Because if you don't know where the person is coming from, it will be difficult for you to help that person. So when we have such opportunities, we hear everyone's view and know where they are coming from, what they're expecting from the SRC body. Then we deliberate on it into action. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that the international students on this campus, we do have International Student Association outside campus. We do have International Student Association outside campus. And so I believe linking the international students here on campus to such association outside campus will make them feel comfortable even during their stay in Ghana. And also having a rep of the international students on the SRC executive board will help bring some of their grievances to the SRC executive for address. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I want us to put our hands together for our distinguished panelists so they can resume their seat or can be there as well. Oh, are we clapping? We can do it better for them. Those were powerful questions. I mean, I really love this. And I think all our candidates are doing well so far. They are doing so well. So the next session of this program is going to be the one in which students will have the opportunity to ask them questions, right? I'm sure we have a lot of questions in our minds for each and every one of them. So when you are given the opportunity, you go to the candidate or you address it directly to the candidate that you want to ask the question. And each candidate has just a minute to answer the question. So we can take as many as questions as possible. Are we ready for that? Oh, are we ready for that? Do we have questions? Do we have questions? All right, so there should be a mic in the store. So if you have a question, I would kindly like you to raise your hands. I can spot some hands already. Raise your hand. You introduce yourself by name and direct the questions to the appropriate candidate. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Dude Matthew. This question goes to Mr. Tete. You mentioned that there are other schools, campuses that you read or you know their constitution. I want to just find out, why are you comparing somebody's constitution to yours? Don't you have the beliefs? Don't you believe in your own constitution? Or what they have is not the current constitution is not of standard? That is one question for you. Then Mr. David, okay, this question goes to all of you. I want to find out, what is the current financial statement of the SRC? And I want you to also tell me how much we have spent, how much is left. And yes, how much is left. Because both of you have worked in the SRC.
Please,
you have worked.
We want to get a question, so please allow him to express himself.
Silence,
Thank
please.
you.
Thank you.
my question is, the financial statement of the SRC now, how much we have, how much we have spent, and how much we are owing.
Thank you for the question. Thank you so much. We have just a chance to give one question, so thank you very much. Oh, let's clap for him.
So let me answer the question. So I didn't get your name clear, but thank you for the question. Answering the first question of the constitution, me comparing our constitution to other campuses' constitution. We are a young university now growing up, okay? And we having our second parliament in section automatically clearly shows that we are young when it comes to the affairs of student politics. And we are affiliated to KNUST. And so we being affiliated to KNUST, automatically, we should learn from our mother university. And so I have a copy of the SRC Constitution and comparing it, let's compare it to just KNUST. Comparing it, we are far below standard. 2, we are a Christian university. And so we should compare our constitution to other Christian universities, where I have Pentecost University and Central University. These 2 universities we know belong to the famous or the popular Christian institution we know, Pentecost and Lighthouse, right? No, Duncan Williams Church. I've forgotten the church. So comparing it to the 2 Christian institutions, we are below standard. 3, we are a Christian institution. And in this country, we have Islamic institutions. So I have compared it to the Islamic University too, and still we are far below standard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we can move on to the next question, please. Okay, there's the second question.
The second part of the question.
All right.
Financial statements of the SRC. The current SRC has not published that information. And so we do not have it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And adding up, I am defending 2 of us. I'm not defending myself, I'm defending 2 of us. The current SRC administration refused to send a statement budget of the SRC week celebration they are going to have. And so automatically they clearly decided not to inform the student body of the budget. I am the speaker. He is a current member of parliament. And so we were trying to get to know the statement, the financial statement of the SRC, and they refused to make such information available. So we don't know.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. No, sorry, we have to move on to another section, please, because of time.
No, with all due respect, no, I'm not asking a question. With all due respect, both of them have worked in the SRC. Now, if you are saying that they refuse, don't you have a constitutional rule? What is that? Okay, I want to know this. They are denying you for that. Can't you go to the appropriate channel for you to be able to get the financial statement? Am I right or am I wrong? It means that both of you have helped the SRC, this current SRC, to come down.
I say no to that, actually. I say no to that. We have not helped me, myself. Okay, let me talk for 2 of us. 2 of us have not helped the current SRC administration. Me being a speaker, he being a member of parliament, we decided to put injunction on the SRC week celebration so they make available documents to us to review, get to know the budget before we approved. And they refused. And this is why I said we have loopholes. Our constitution is not the ultimate decider when it comes to student affairs. And so we got some external members outside the student affairs to talk to us to allow the SRC week to go on, to attract the level 100. To attract the level 100, for the level 100 to know, say, the SRC is really active. And we decided to let it be because 2 of us are business students and we learn management. And so when it comes to management, you apply the flexibility. And 2 of us, he being a member of parliament, me being the speaker, we decided to let things slide. Thank you.
Thank you very much. To the next student, please.
Thank you. My name is Ernest Daouni. I'd like to know level 100.
Your name and level?
Ernest Daouni, level 100. I'd like to know from both of you, when do you say that a conflict between two parties have been fairly resolved? And do you have a personal experience where there was that situation where you served as the one that resolved the issue? And what lessons can you share with us?
Thank you. I would like to say a big congratulations or work done to the current Chief Justice. He has really done a great job, and his job really needs a recommendation because he did a great job by resolving the differences or the conflicts or the issues that was boiling in the Hcc. So in a case where we have conflict coming together, you refer this case to the Judicial Committee. And the Judicial Committee have a chairman, which is the Chief Justice, and he sits with his committee to resolve the issue. That's why we give chance to these parties involved in the conflict for a fair case hearing. So there has been an instance which is between the Hcc executive and the Hcc president, and these two parties were given the opportunity to face the Judicial Committee for a fair case hearing, and it was resolved. And we all saw the verdict and report of the committee yesterday on the community page and our emails. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we move to...
Okay, I would like to answer the question with a personal experience. I was a Zone 7, Church of Christ Zone 7 youth organizer. And I served in that position for 6 years. And before I came into office, the previous administration got to a time the churches in the zone were not interested in anything the zone does. So we organized programs, no one will come. So when we came into office, what myself and my other executives decided to do was to go to the individual congregations, listen to their views. Why don't they want to partake in the zonal activities? So they have to come out with what their grievances were. And we have to find amicable solutions to those grievances. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we were able to organize events that we had almost all the congregations in the zone attending. And it was a success. And the current executives have taken it from there, and they are still working with it. And God willing, on the 7th of this next month, we have a program where all the churches in the zone are partaking. Thank you.
Please, my name is Bobby Blay, level 400. Now, when you come to Heritage Christian College, we have the vision of the school, the mission of the school, and the core value. Now, when you take a critical look on our school badge, we have to know, to be, to serve, and to lead. How can you explain that to the student body in relation to the core values and the mission and the vision statement of the school?
Thank you very much.
In relation to the core values.
Any other questions, please? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, taking our 5 C's, the first one, which is conviction, and taking to know. When the convictions of this school are explained to you, for you to understand them, this institution is a Christ-centered institution, it's a Christian institution, and our ultimate constitution is the Bible. So when you're able to hold on to those values the Bible is giving you, you get to understand them, you know them. You go out there, you can also teach it to others. That's where character comes in. You live it. You just don't receive it and put it somewhere, but you live it for others to see. And we are being taught to serve others. And that's with community, compassion. If you don't have compassion for others, how do you serve them? you not even recognize the needs of that person in order to serve him. But when you have compassion, you serve people, we come together as a community to move on. Thank you.
To answer that question, it is a function or a duty of the SRC to ensure and maintain class-like behavior among students. And so I believe that if it is the duty or responsibility of the SRC to ensure and maintain Christ-like behavior among students, then we believe that if we are able to promote this and also promote the 5 C's of the Christian institution, when we go out there, we will be ready to serve others and to also display what the impact of this 5C is having on us, and we can impact others out there. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. My name is Samuel Solasi, and my question is to the both of you. Management has done what they can with, including SRC, about General Assembly, but it seems it's not working. And even this semester, we have students have complained. Last semester, students have complained that they don't have extra time after General Assembly so that they can go and have their food. But this semester, we have added extra 45 minutes after General Assembly that students can go and get something to eat and prepare for the next class. This is also not working. What are you bringing on board? What extra thing? That question has been asked though, but as SRC president, management and the previous SRCs have done their best. This is not working. Do you consider General Assembly being necessary? Do you consider it being compulsory for all students? Or do you also consider it being optional or consider it being stopped? And that's my question. Thank you.
Stopping General Assembly is a no-no. It's not an option, because it is part or it's a culture of this institution to come together, learn, and also have influence on ourselves. And so looking at the option of stopping General Assembly is a no-no. And students' low participation in General Assembly is a student behavior, okay? Though an extra 45 minutes has been added to the time. So I asked myself, if the president of the school giving free food to students to come for General Assembly and they are still not showing up, what can we do as an SRC to even attract? We are not even offering food to them. The president of the school who is offering food to them, they are not coming. What can we do? So I think stopping General Assembly is a no-no. But if a student believes in the culture of every institution or every organization that he or she finds himself, then he should be willing to submit to the culture. Thank you.
Okay, I think it's a gradual process. Because when we came in level 100, the attendance at General Assembly was not encouraging at all as compared to what we are having now. I think for the past, let me say this semester, for instance, we've seen that the attendance has been encouraging. And stopping General Assembly is not an option. We can't stop it. Because when you look at Church of Christ universities around the world, it's a culture of the church and the university. So it's something we can't stop. We have to continue. And so we need to make students understand. Maybe it's the programs we are doing they don't like. We have to get that views from them and know how to fine-tune it to get the attention for them to come. That's my short answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Please, my first question goes to Gilbert. Yes, you were talking about comparing the Constitution to other institutions. In my opinion, I feel like and I think that it's a young university. We are still growing. So why are you so keen on comparing the constitutions when you know very well that it's still a young university that is growing? I don't think the University of Ghana or KNUS just started. It was little. So, okay,
after reviewing the constitution, comparing it, and getting the school's constitution to their constitution, their level, what's next? What are you going to do about it? And my second question goes to both of you, is both of you have concrete past. Talking about
what?
the...
Come again.
You have concrete past. Talking about you being
what?
The Speaker of Parliament, but you haven't... He didn't hammer on anything on that side, but you did. So how do we trust you that if you are being voted into power, this is what you are going to do, as you said, because you had a past in that sort, but you couldn't do anything about it. Yes, and the third question is... Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, allow her to express herself. Allow her.
The third question is, Heritage as a university have our own core values. So you personally, what are your own personal values that you think adding it to the Heritage core values is going to help us? And my last question is, since we are growing as a university, how are you going to help us to grow, bring more students being president of the SRC? Thank you.
Thank you for this question. And thank you for your last question. So I am linking your last question to the first question. Why me comparing our current SRC constitution to other institutions? You just said something in your last question that as we are growing as an institution, okay, so automatically Hcc is not going to remain this low population student. We will surely grow. And as we grow, there should be something guiding our growth. And so me making sure that the current SRC constitution meets the standard of other institutions. Pentecost University started from a scratch. They are now growing. Central University also started from a scratch. As the school grows, automatically there should be a review. Even Legon, which is the highest number of students on their campus, reviewed their constitution just some years back. Automatically the school will grow. And so we should be ready to adapt to new guidance or new constitution which will guide and not let us do whatever we wish to do. Your second question, I'm not too sure. Can you hammer on it for me? Okay, my past being the speaker. Some of the students can attest to the fact on the community page. Me being a speaker, I took an oath of office, an oath of secrecy. But as they say, when you are close to the heat, you feel the heat more than someone who is behind the heat. And so when you are feeling the heat, you are trying to get the executive to do the right thing. The executive, those present here will attest to the fact that I have never been in support of anything that is unconstitutional. I always make sure that things they do conform to the Constitution. And so when they are trying to get things done outside the Constitution, they get me to fight with them. And when I fight with them behind the closed doors and they are not listening to me, then they say when justice is being denied, you run to the public court. And that's when I turn to the community page for them to know what is actually happening behind closed doors that the executive are not willing to confine. Okay, so let me leave it here. Thank you.
Okay, linking my personal values to that of Heritage. My personal quotation is Psalm 39, verse 4. Oh. Lord, make me know my end and the measure of my days, and what it is, let me know how frail I am. This toil that we are toiling here, this hustle, all we are doing is we are fighting to make it to heaven. I don't want to suffer here and go to hell again. Second suffering, I don't want that. So that's my personal conviction. So whatever I do, I try to do the right thing. I'm not perfect. I have my flaws, as every other human being. But once I know what I'm doing is right, no matter who you are, once I know I'm not going against God, I will do it. And that's my personal conviction. And that's what the core values of Hcc wants us to be. Thank you.
Okay, I am John Amwa. My question is to two of you. Okay, so we get to know about SRC when only we're having SRC week. And students always complain about the school being dull and stuff. So apart from SRC week celebration, as president, what will you guys implement? Because I noticed that the current SRC, during state March, even though it was a holiday, they were supposed to organize an activity for the school or students to engage themselves in, but we were all in our hostels, nothing was being done. So please tell me what you will do apart from SRC week celebration. Thank you.
Okay, there are so many activities that happen on Hcc campus, even though the SRC week is always the highlight of it all. There's football that goes on, there's basketball, there's volleyball. All those are sources of entertainment. What my administration would do is to add to it, organize programs that will bring students in to enjoy it. Like I said earlier, we can have an arts and culture day. Students come in to showcase their talents. We get to know diverse cultural backgrounds. We can have seminars, workshops. We have people of influence coming in to lecture us, to expose us to what is out there, so that when we leave here and we are going to the job market, we know what we are already going to face. So these are activities that we can organize. As well as students, we need to know the kind of entertainment we want. Is this something that conforms with the core values of HCC? If you all agree that, oh, let's bring in Shatawale because he will come and raise the atmosphere here, the first question we should ask ourselves is, whatever Shatawale is going to do here, will it conform with the core values of HCC? If not, who are we bringing in? There are alternatives in the secular music space who we can bring in. Lastly, are we willing to pay for those things to happen on our campus? So that's where I will take it from. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to inform the House that we are... Okay.
Yeah, so thank you for the question, Mr. John Kofi Amuopon. Students complaining the SRC being, campus being dull and all that. I'd like to acknowledge the active participation of the Dean of Students when it comes to student activities. Okay, so functions of the SRC, Article 7, subsection F, C, or A, talks about cooperating with students' representative body of other university and institution of higher learning in the country and abroad in matters of mutual interest. So I believe that some big universities, some leading universities do organize student programs. And so if, as an SRC president, I build such relationship with other campuses and they are having an educative seminars, okay, talking to the Dean of Students, I know he will be willing to support students when it comes to transportation, to take a number of students from Hcc campus to attend such programs on other campuses. So students get to learn from other campuses when it comes to leadership and taking leadership roles actively. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, let's put our hands together for them. I'd like to inform the House that we have 5 minutes to close this section. So we are taking the last 3 questions. So we move on to the next. So 3 questions, please. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm Entry David. So what I want to say something relating to Jacko's question. So about students' entertainment or making campus life nice, and then I remember we had these clubs on campus, but this question goes to you, David. You joined the club, but you never attended any of the meetings or, yeah. So I want to ask you, now you are becoming the president. Are you trying to tell us that when you become the president, you do it, or like just explain? I want you to explain yourself because I don't understand. You didn't actually participate in that. So why should we believe you and even vote for you? And then my second question is about the SRC dues. And then you know that is the only income SRC gets to, let me say, organize staff on campus. And then the dues is 30 cedis. And then looking at this hardship students are going through, what are you going to do? Are you actually going to let them increase price, like the price of the cost? Are you going to let them increase, or what are you going to do? What are you trying to implement?
Thank you very much.
All right.
I know you are talking about the Cadets Club.
Yes.
The Cadets Club, be honest with yourself and tell me the meeting you organized, and I didn't attend just one meeting. I remember the first meeting we had. I think Lamte was even part. We had it at the SR3. That was the day we decided the amount of dues we have to pay and all those things. So if you are saying I didn't attend any of your meetings, I'm sorry, but you are lying. Two, we had a WhatsApp page that we're updating. Oh, I'm last. We had a WhatsApp page that we update each other on. There was even a program that was organized and I was supposed to attend with you. But at the last minute, I was prepared. At dawn, you called me and told me that meeting has been cancelled because money was not released for the SRC to go for that program. And I think somewhere last semester, when we came back, I think yourself and John, we were even supposed to do a T-shirts. I gave you the prizes and everything. Nothing came out of it. So the cadets group itself died a natural death with every member. It was just yourself and John who went on those meetings. Two, concerning the SRC dues. The SRC dues as we currently pay is 30 cedis, which is way too below. Even the public universities pay more than that. So I will advocate with management because I remember our tuition was increased. Getting to level 300, our tuition fee was increased, but nothing was done to the SRC dues. So I will advocate and plead with management. Once they've been able to increase our tuition, a percentage of that should go to the SRC dues. Thank you.
Senior, please take your seat, I beg you.
Allow him to.
So what I'm trying to say is, students, or let's say yourself, as you are saying I'm lying, Jacko is here. We had training here on campus 3 consecutive times. Were you there? Why? You are not participating. How would will I say it? The institution or the group go ahead? Because I'm coming. Because you didn't come, others didn't come. The people who were coming, or the few people who were coming, also decided not to come. But if you were coming, the little of us, we could motivate the rest to join. That is my problem.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the first training session, you gave time. I'm a very time-conscious person. I don't joke with my time at all. You gave time for us to meet. We came to sit there. Even Jacko was, at a point, Jacko wanted to return to the hostel before he stayed for you to come. I work as well. So I have to leave you guys. It's not the basketball courts that you did that training. You did a training at the basketball courts. I was there. And the training didn't start on time. I had to leave.
Please, I'd like to add up to the SRC dues. So looking at our current population now, and looking at our SRC dues, I am not too sure of the current SRC dues that Legon are paying. But the previous one, I know. They were paying 21 cedis per head as an SRC dues. And looking at their population, automatically 21 cedis per Legon population will automatically be a huge sum of money. And looking at our population and paying 30 cedis per head or per year, will not mount to anything. And so organizing programs that will always take from the account of SRC will automatically lead us nowhere. So if we can organize programs that will not take money, but at least attending seminars that is being organized by other campuses and having a feel of how leadership looks like, that would be far better. And also organizing SRC programs that's like the Kakum National Park that the SRC executive are organizing. At least organizing such programs, and after the program, you look at your cost and your profit, you can just invest it back to the SRC account. And also making sure that 30 cedis that are being paid by students, 1% of it, at least per year, will be invested. So as it's matured, the SRC can take a developmental project that can help the school. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Daniel, and my question to Gilbert is, I've actually sat here and listened to you, okay, and almost all your submissions has basically been on the...
Please come again, I'm not getting you.
Yes, I said I've sat here and listened to you extensively, and your submissions has been on the Constitution. Now, I want to find out from you. You see, there are a number of things that really needs addressing here on campus. And, for example, an outdoor sitting place where we often call a lover's bench. You look all over campus, and I think you can only find 2. Okay, 1, yes. Exactly. So I want to find out from you. How would your constitution, or how is the constitution going to aid us in getting a lover's bench? Yes, thank you.
Okay, so if you're asking me how the constitution helps us to raise funds, okay. So if the constitution is being amended or reviewed, and part of the constitution, an article state that 1% of the SRC dues that student pays should be invested. And as it matures, we can use the mature to do developmental project. That would be far better. Now, per the current SRC constitution that we have, it does not allow, or it does not state or support SRC administration to take up any developmental project. And if even allows us, how are we going to get the funds to sponsor this developmental project? And so if we amend the constitution and a part of the constitution is automatically stating that % of the SRC dues should be invested, then automatically management have no option than when the SRC dues is being paid, they should take that part, that % and invest it in the name of SRC developmental. So when it matures, we can have the mature to sponsor any developmental project on campus. As it stands now, students are calling for entertainment on campus, and it's going to take money to do this. And looking at our population and looking at the SRC dues we are paying, it can't fund or it can't sponsor everything that students are craving for. Thank you.
Please, my question is, the first question is about participation in sporting activities. Some of us, we are talented in the sports field, and I want to know if there will be scholarships available to motivate us to put in the effort, because the school fees we are paying is very huge. So we are actually looking for, hello, please, we want like incentives or something that can motivate us to put our all in, so that we know that, because it's a risk, because I'm studying at the same time doing sports. So is there anything the school is giving for our participation in sports? And we need the SRC to involve other aspects of sport, because I can see that the focus is more going into the football side. And some of us who have come with other talents like b-ball and others. So we want you to encourage that, so that we can also motivate some of our mates who are aspiring to come to the university. We can use those aspects to refer them to the university. And My second question is, you spoke about comparing the KNUST constitution to ours to see some loopholes and stuff like that. I wanted to know that what are some specific loopholes, like at least 3 of them? What have you seen? And when like you think that if you put into implement in this school, it will bring a significant improvement in our life. We want you to mention like at least 3 of them, like specific, so that it will motivate us.
So, answering your first question, okay. The sports commissioner also have plans and visions that he is bringing on board. Actually, we have 2 sports commissioners contesting for that position. They have plans and visions they are bringing on board. And looking at scholarship, as Hcc right now, we have other scholarships that are meant for students who have good CWA but can't afford their fees. Is there. And so looking at our state right now, offering scholarship to such sporting activities will be a bit difficult. But at least the visions and plans that the sports commissioner will bring on board will help motivate students to give in their best. I know of Legon that when it comes to the horse, okay, when it comes to the various horse, if you are talented when it comes to sporting activities, getting room at the horse is very easy for you. If they open the portal to do accommodation, resident registration, and you don't get room, and you go to their horse and you let them know, oh, I'm good when it comes to football, I'm good when it comes to b-ball, automatically they want to maintain you for their hall. So when it comes to inter-horse activities, they can have you play for them. And so such opportunities are there for some leading universities, but Hcc is not there. But the plans and visions of the sports commissioner is far better when, like, we listen and we strategize about it. It can improve the motivation of such people who want to get themselves into sports. Thank you. Yeah, the loopholes. So, looking at our current constitution now, the president have the power, okay, to appoint the Speaker of Parliament. And automatically, if the president appoints the Speaker of Parliament, automatically the Speaker of Parliament owns allegiance to the president. And so there are some bits of the president that the Speaker have to confine to respect the Src president, because you appointed me and I own my allegiance to you, which I should. So I think there should be a freedom like other constitutions from other campuses. They have the right to nominate their speaker amongst themselves, and they vote to elect a speaker. And so I think that it should be given that same opportunity here, that the Legislative Council should give the opportunity to nominate who they want to be their speaker from the executive side and also from the class rep side, who they want to be their speaker, and they vote and speaker is emerged. That's the loophole that I have noticed that I want to amend. Thank you. Ideas.
Okay, my name is Edmond, and I would like to address this.
Please speak up.
Sure. Entertainment on campus has been one way over the years, like talent hunts, Src week, and then we see people come to dance, perform, and all that. But then in other schools, we see, celebrities, artist nights going on, people coming to perform and all those stuff. Now, every Src, all the Src executives say they don't have money. Because we know bringing maybe Shatawale or Stoneboy to come and perform entails a lot, like money and all those stuff. But then in another way, it helps the school. Like, let's say Shatawale is coming to Hcc today, and he announces to his over 5 million followers that he's coming to Hcc. You could see how that will impact the school. Like, people would like to come and know where Hcc is, and people would like to come to Hcc and see which school is Hcc.
Now, I want to know how you guys are going to raise fund for all those activities because students need it. Other schools, authorities don't give them money for them bringing artists to come and perform in the school. They raise money from the SRC and then sponsors. But then here, I've never even seen any sponsor on any program. And when you ask them why, they give you like just any answer at all. So I want to know how are we going to bring that on campus? Thank you.
Okay, that's where the supports and links come in. We need to call for sponsorship for such activities. So write to industry players to come support us. We have our alumni who are out there in the corporate world. We can call on them to come and support us in those regards. But as I said earlier, as a Christian university, it's not every entertainment we can go in for. So we will have to toe a certain line. Yes, there are Muslims here, but our core values is what is guiding us in doing everything that we do here. We just don't want to come here and live like that. We need to take something away, not just the certificate at the end of the 4 years. We need to take some skills and other things away. So calling on support from people to help us host those programs is something that we can do. And it starts with getting the right links, which I will be falling on the alumni for that. And I've even started talking to some of them. They've assured me that if we call on them, they will be willing to support us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like us to put our hands together for them. Oh, are we putting our hands together for them? And I'm glad to inform you that we've come to the end to this section. I know we have questions, right? Some people even want to ask questions to the vice president, but because of time, we can't allow that to come in right now. I'll be glad to inform you that we are streaming live on YouTube, and there are some few questions, but I'll just keep two to the candidates, right? So this is from the first person. My name is Jerome. My question goes to both candidates. What do you seek to be remembered for after your administration? Thank you. So you have 2 minutes each to answer. That's for Jerome on YouTube. Thank you. So we can start from Mr. Gilbert.
I want to be remembered that the Hcc president that did not make his executive ceremonial heads, but got each and everyone to participate in the administration of Hcc. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. We want to be remembered for being an Hcc executive who were transparent, with integrity, and helped the student body to have confidence in the Hcc and partake in Hcc activities. Thank you.
Oh, let's put our hands together for them on that. And this is the second and final question we have on YouTube. My question is, how do they intend to handle the case of some students who wants to transfer or defer because of one reason or the other? Thank you. We can start from Mr. Gilbert as well.
Knowing their reasons will help us how to solve the problem. But if due to one reason or the other that they are not willing to open up, it might be, let me turn to the woman, it might be she is pregnant. She's a married woman who is pregnant and she can't combine education stress. That's why she wants to withdraw. There's nothing you can say to such person that will make her to reconsider to continue. And so if the reasons is being known to us, then we can know how to support. If it is based on financial issues, then we can know how to address it so he can write his exams not to defer the course. But if the reasons is known to us, maybe due to personal reasons, we have to respect such reasons. Thank you.
Sorry, I think that the person called me actually. He's asking if you want to, is it defer, but outside the country, not in Ghana. You want to go and continue outside the country.
Well, That's the work of the registrar, the academics. So you
so
go
they're
to the
asking how you can be of help, how you can help them to get to who they need to get to be able to get that done.
Well, Hcc is a member of NUCS. Hcc is a member of GAPS. Hcc is a member of PUSAC. We belong to some student associations, and they have international relations officers who do work on scholarship basis. And so if we refer the student to such organization, international relations officer, who can assist them, and it comes to they taking their transcripts from Hcc to go and continue, then we refer such student to registrar the academics to work on their transcript for them. But the possible thing or the only solution out is we will refer the student to the student association that we are members of, their international relations officer, to get the assistance they need. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's put our hands together for them. Oh, are we clapping? I know we've been here for a while, but we'll be closing quite soon. Very, very soon. So we are moving to the next session of this exercise. Come again. Okay, you have more questions, is that it? Unfortunately, time will not allow us to do that right now. We can always do that another time. So we are moving to the next session of this exercise. So in this section, we have 5 minutes to do this, right? The candidates, this is a rebuttal session. They have the opportunity to ask each other questions and answer. I mean, you can question their policies. You've seen something in his manifesto that you want to question or something like that. So we have 5 minutes to get this done. So we have 5 minutes to get it done. So probably a question or two, so the other party respond. Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for them as we watch them answer each other's questions. Thank you.
Okay, I'll go first. Gilbert, you have 2 main objectives. You have 2 main objectives, which is to review the Constitution and host the SRC week outside campus. And we have a whole academic year as student body. Are those the only 2 things you are going to do for the student? Don't you think they deserve more?
Looking at the Constitution, that is the supremacy or the ultimate decider, there are functions that have been outlined under the Constitution as an SRC president you need to do. Looking at those functions, I will not make promises based on those functions. I am an HR student, and I understand job design. So let me cite this example. A lecturer coming for an interview at Hcc, and you come and face management, and you telling management that if I am given the opportunity to be a lecturer in this institution, I will teach well for the student to pass well. It's your job to teach. It's your job to make sure the student pass the exams. And so if you make promises based on this job design, then I don't see the need. And so there are some functions that have been outlined under the Constitution that the student body are expecting me to deliver, and which I am ready to deliver. But this is my two main agenda I'm bringing on board. Don't forget, I am not the only executive member to attend to the needs of the student body. Other executives are coming on board, and they also have their visions they are bringing on board. And so if I outline a whole list of visions and I impose it on them, how then do they also get a chance to also execute their vision? Because they also made promises. They also have their vision that they are campaigning to the voters to vote for them. And so if I don't give them the room to express themselves, to also attain their achievement, then it's going to be the SRC president attending, but not the executive attending. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, we can clap for that. I mean, if you want. Gilbert.
I also want to add to that. I think in every organization is governed by constitution, okay? And it is the constitution that makes you deliver your work well. So if your constitution is not strong enough and there are loopholes in your constitution, your work will not be perfect. Now, when you look at 7, it talks about the functions of the SRC, okay? So all the things that we need to do are in that article, okay? Now, read Article 29 of the Constitution. It refers you back to Article 9. And when you look at what Article 29 talks about, it's different from what Article 9 is talking about, which is an error. Because Article 29 tells you that the president shall appoint. And then, let me read Article 29 for you very well. I don't want to. So,
so we have to.
Okay, so Article 29 says the president shall appoint a speaker. Okay, but when you, and then it refers you to Article 9. But Article 9 talks about the Electoral Commission and not the speaker, which is an error. And so these are the loopholes that we want to. So if the Constitution is not strong enough, then you are not helping the student body to have flexibility of your work. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have the chance to get one question from this party to the other. Then we can move to the next session, please. No, you can now ask them a question. Yes, one question. So we move on.
They don't have a question.
I don't have any question for them. But if they have question, I don't have any question for them actually. So if they do,
okay. Do you have any other?
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, so let's put our hands together for them. That was a nice and interactive section, right? So we are getting closer and closer to the end of this section. There is a small activity that I would like to take them through. So I want us to put our hands together to welcome the EC chairperson to lead us through this section. Let's clap.
Good afternoon. Okay, so this is just something to warm us up. I'm putting up a challenge. Each of them will come and pick, I think these are 5. This is a paper soap. Let me introduce it first. This is a paper soap for hand washing, or anytime you find yourself somewhere that you need a soap to quickly wash your hand, you can use this. It's very simple to use. So they'll come forward and pick, it's 5 each. And then you need to identify anyone you think that you are sure that is going to vote for you on Sunday. You are very sure that that person. Please, do you understand?
Yeah, we understand.
You are sure that that very person will vote for you on the 2nd of April. Please come down and let's do this. Please, no one should call them. They should just come straight forward to us. Please come. Yes, he's there. Please, there. Yes, Gilbert. Okay, so let's see by hands those who have the soap. Please raise. Oh, okay, congratulations. All right, thank you so much. You can have your seat.
Well, let's put our hands together for them once again. And here we've come to the end of. Okay. So we've come to the end of this section, but before we do that, we would like to get some remarks from the panelists that question our aspirants. So we can give them the mic now to hear something from them. Final remarks, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you so very much. A quick one just to box it up all. We have great men, people who have vision. And all I'm asking is that what has happened in the past, please help the institution to rectify that. Transparency is all that the student needs. And then leadership is not about you yourself, but having followers. Your vision should allow all of us to benefit and to move forward. Thank you.
Okay. With my submissions to both of you who have served in the schools council before, be it parliament or wherever, I want to tell you or urge you that whenever you find yourself somewhere, try to make a difference. Don't say that, let me wait till I acquire that power before I can make a change so that my name will be heard. No, it shouldn't be like that. And to Mr. Tete, you made several comments on the Constitution and as to comparing this Constitution to other schools, and I don't know, but I am not sure Heritage is into this kind of competition with other universities in this country, but they are just trying their maximum best to reach out there. And then that is why you could see clearly, if you've been to other universities or you've had other tertiary education before coming here, you could see that their way of doing certain things are far different. And you and I have sat in Blue Ocean class before. We know what Blue Ocean is. And if you are trying to compare a Blue Ocean institution to a Red Ocean institution, that's not going to work. So you try to look at that as well. And it's like, per my observations as the Legal Counsel Commissioner of the SRC, you said you sent an injunction letter. I have never received any letter in my mails like that, and I've not received any official letter. So if you are saying that next time if you want to do something like that, try and follow official procedures. It's like you try to make the current SRC unpopular. So please try to make those corrections the next time. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what I would say to you is congratulations for the effort of bringing yourselves up, for all of us here to more or less ask you questions and criticize you. It's a bold step, so congratulations. We hope that whoever gets the opportunity to lead the student body would live up to promises. What I can also tell you is that there are numerous of resources available in terms of students. So reach out. Whatever the problems are, reach out. There are some things some of us are getting to know and hear for the first time, which we could have been of good help. So reach out. The last thing I will say is have some benchmarks for assessing your own success. So if you can say a bit of that in your closing remarks, what benchmarks do you have yourselves in assessing your own success? That would go a long way to help. Thank you.
Gentlemen, you did a great job today. I personally commend all of you for such a bold step, sitting in front of us to actually tell us what you want to do and what you do if you are voted into power. But I want to read something for you guys. The term SRC President can refer to the president of a student representative council, of course, at a school or a university. The SRC is a group of students who are elected to represent the interests and concerns of the student body. Take note, interests and concerns of the student body. The SRC president is the elected leader of this group and is responsible for overseeing its activity and representing the student body in discussions with school or university administrators. All I'm trying to say there is that you have great opportunities if you are voted into this office. And you should know how to take up responsibilities and not be given excuses for something not done. So we ask you, why is this not done? You don't tell us, this person didn't do this or didn't do that. I'm sorry. We'll do better, and make sure you do better. And now you are going to lead a group of, I don't know whether 13 or 15 other executives. Know how to delegate and know how to assess your success, like a brother said. In doing that, you'll get to a point and realize that, yes, you have been impactful. And always live by this phrase, servant leadership. It's not about you. The fact that you are in power, it's not about you. It's about the people you're serving. Christ makes us to understand, whoever wants to be great needs to first serve. And here as a Christian university, you should have that as your benchmark to live your leadership responsibilities. Thank you.
Well, let's put our hands together for them. We can do it better. We can do it better for them. I believe these are powerful remarks, right? Talking about available resources. That's one of the key things. Secondly, we heard about blue ocean and red ocean. For those that don't understand, I mean, that's entrepreneurship. And thirdly, he spoke about servant leadership. And that is one of the key things we need to see among or inside of our leaders in this campus. So I want us to clap for them once again, saying thank you for our panelists for making time out of their busy schedules and making it here, and saying thank you to the student body as well for coming here and for helping us through this powerful or this important exercise. It is time to close, but there is an announcement for the student body. We quickly take that, we take the closing prayer, and we are off here. So let's put our hands together for, as she comes.
Okay, so the school's constitution, as we speak, is under review. And the student body is supposed to also have an input. If you read the constitution and you realize that there are some corrections which need to be made, some amendments, you put your views forward. So you can either forward it to me or the Chief Justice. You look for us, we will take your views, then we put everything together, then send to the legislators for them to have their conference on it. When the corrections are made, then we then bring them out. So this is the announcement. We all should endeavor to do something about it so that next time we will not face much problems. As I thank you.
Oh, let's put our hands together for her. Thank you very much for your time once again. And we have come to the end of today's exercise. And we want to inform you that registration is going on and it's ending this evening by 12 a.m. That would be done. So we so far have.
It feels like becoming an entrepreneur aside academics is never going to be possible when you're in school. Mainly because we feel that we are young and we don't have the resources and the guts to be one.
But if you believe in yourself and you have the passion to become an entrepreneur, then you already are.
Staying ahead in a highly competitive environment requires applying creativity and innovation to every aspect of your journey to becoming an entrepreneur.
Presently, entrepreneurship is driven by creativity and innovation to attain business objectives.
The explosion in technology, business, entrepreneurship, and consumption in this new era is as a result of the ongoing application of innovation.
Milton Bell once said, if opportunity doesn't knock, build a door.
So if you are ready to be an entrepreneur, we are ready for you.
feel adrift as you transition into a new stage of your life? The future seems like a blank space until you discover the passion within. The canvas of the future is yours to paint. Welcome to a world of opportunities. Heritage Christian College, offering world-class university education, training compassionate entrepreneurial leaders.